Hello guys, welcome back to more Age of Calamity.
Welcome back. Welcome back. This music
Guys,
slap.
chat,
Anyways,
you were saying?
as I was saying, I think when I said they're awkward attacks, I mean like they're so slow that you kill them before they even like swipe.
Yeah.
And even the later ones with enough health to tank that, their attacks are so awkward that trying to like dodge them is like worthless basically. Or like flurry rush them, it's
Yeah.
really annoying. And I'm like, and for the most part, their stuff is just unfair. I just don't like them.
Dude,
The,
young
the only
Impa. Dude, young Impa.
dude, oh my god, would.
Absolutely. She's like a better version of Paya.
Exactly.
Like, I think she is literally just a better version of Paya. Alright.
Dude, but I'm saying like I think the flux constructs, the boss ones,
Yeah.
such a missed opportunity. The most missed opportunity I've ever seen.
I
Bro.
agree. I agree with that.
Because
Considering.
like I get the first one is like relatively easy. That's fine. They don't get harder.
No, they don't. They just get more health.
They don't even get faster really.
No,
They like
they don't get
barely
faster.
do.
They just get more health.
And what pisses me off is like that dude, imagine it got faster and it had like a variant that it was like playing Snake basically on the field,
That would be
and you
pretty
had to
cool.
like dodge out of
Or
that,
like,
or like
imagine there was one
block.
where it's just like Tetris. That would be so cool.
That would be awesome. But
stronger
when
than
I said
before.
Snake, I mean like you have to like parry it and it falls apart.
Oh, that'd be
Like
neat.
that
Like
would
they
be
they
cool.
could
Like
have
stuff
done
like that.
so what I think. So Breath of the Wild is the baseline. This came out like Wii U. It came out before Odyssey. Like people overlook that, but like it did. And for what it was, it basically introduced an entire like genre, like an entire like uprising of open world fantasy games.
It basically
Most of
redefined what
which,
open world was.
yeah, and most of those games are very good, and I enjoy personally a lot of those games. Breath of the Wild is still my favorite of those.
Agreed.
But like to this day, like you get Frontiers, you get Elden Ring, and like the first thing that people said was it's a Breath of the Wild Souls game or it's a Breath of the Wild Sonic game. It basically defined what open world games were going to be because it had so much while still keeping its. So the only thing, basically, what I'm trying to say is Breath of the Wild, despite its like hindsight shortcomings, like when you first play through the game, you don't think about any of the things that like you kind of complain about, like now.
Yeah, it is. You don't. The only reason why you even think about those things is because you love the game so much
That
that
you
you want it
want.
to be so much more.
Yeah, but it has an excuse because it was the first. It was an experiment, and they did eventually like give us more, you know.
Yeah, and like
And then they were,
I
and
agree.
then people were so happy because they were like, "Hey, you know this thing that was really good and that you wanted more of? We're gonna give you more." And then they didn't, and that kind of ruined the whole thing, you know?
Yeah, and that's my biggest problem is that it theoretically should have been my favorite game of the
Yeah.
year.
So here's
It
the thing:
theoretically
Tears of the
should
Kingdom
have.
is not a bad game. It just cannot live up to what Breath of the Wild was.
It's just a disappointment.
Yeah.
That is the biggest thing. It is not a bad game.
This
I will
looks
go on
like
record.
what
Not a bad game. No matter
There,
how much I complain
I
or
would
whine
I would
or whatever.
rather play that game than a lot of other games.
Exactly. Like I would so much rather play that than like getting over it and shit like that. And when I say that, that's not to say getting over it's a bad game, but I'm saying like there are games that like I just wouldn't hate to play more than this game.
Yeah.
So, but the thing is that it's just like it's one of those things where like it is a game made for me, dude. I love monsters. I love like medieval stuff where like there's not a huge bunch of technology that's like like modern technology,
Can I interrupt you with something real quick?
Yes.
Curious about
So,
the diminutive guardian,
I think that there
decided
is
to
a way
accompany
to
Impa
ruin
on her
like
journey
fantasy
to
stuff
Purah's
for me.
research facility.
Like I
With
love
Link
fantasy
acting
when
as
it's like
bodyguard,
pure fantasy,
they
right?
made their
And like
way
you can
to the
introduce some like ancient tech so long as it like works on magic, like golems and stuff like that. I think that that is interesting and cool.
Yeah.
When you introduce like even Lies of P, there was like a mix of magic and and technology, right?
Yeah, an early tech.
Yeah. I think that there was a point where you cannot have an old fantasy setting and technology. If you are to have like technology and magic, it has to be a sort of Renaissance look. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you kind of have to go
Can't
one
have,
or the other.
yeah, like you can have sections that are like completely sealed off from that technology, and I think that is fine. But you cannot like combine the two. Like you can't have trains going through like a wood shack village unless that wood shack village is literally just like a place
Literally
along the way.
I'd argue the closest you could get to that is like steampunk.
Yeah.
Attached to me.
So
But even then,
I'm
that's
about
like
to make a
blurring the line.
comparison
Whatever could you be, little one?
that you may or may not get. So you know that I am a fan of Naruto, right? I liked
Yeah.
the series. It was the first anime I ever watched,
I know
right?
exactly where you're going with this.
suppose
I
all you
think
can
that
do
the
is seek
introduction
Roddy and
of
the others
technology in
have to analyze it.
Boruto ruined the
Is
entire
retarded.
concept for me.
I put the word retarded, but I think that's fair.
Yeah, like it was. Oh my God, she's about to get JFK'd.
Oh God, not Kennedy. Oh,
I did that with a wooden. It should have broke. It should have broke.
But
it should have, like, realistically. But game
Oh,
logic.
that's so cool. My shield corresponds to the sword I'm equipped with.
Oh shit.
Because I equipped the trainer sword, because it does like 7 more damage than the soldier sword,
Monsters too, now of all times.
which is, you know.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I agree. I know
Like,
exactly what you're
I
talking
have
about.
not like, so I have never even watched the show. I'm not even giving it a chance, because from what I have seen, like, it just isn't the same thing anymore.
Dude, I legitimately, because I was so curious, I did actually watch like most of the first season of that.
Oh, you know what we should do? We should do
God,
that,
it was awful.
but like but a drinking game.
Bro, it is so boring.
Yeah, so did you know that like apparently like over 50% of it is filler? Like none of that is like none of the shit that you see is like in the manga.
Oh, that's funny. That's fucked up, but that's funny.
And I like, so I've never watched the full show, but I've seen like clips because you know Crunchyroll does that where they just like post YouTube videos about the thing, right?
Yeah.
And I have never once like seen a show that is so all over the place. Like it's trying to tell so much, and like this is gonna sound
feels
weird.
like all of it.
It feels like it's trying to tell me so much without actually doing anything. Like
So it's
the
kind of
best
like-
parts of
I'd
the
argue-
show I've seen are like whenever the characters from the main series are doing stuff.
Okay, have you know a guy called XQC?
Yes, I don't like. I'm familiar with like.
You
the
know how he
streamer.
speaks?
Yes.
It's like trying to listen to XQC speak in Spanish.
Oh, like normal like you go to Mexico type of Spanish.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Like
I don't think that's possible.
I'd compare that to Boruto.
I don't think that's possible.
But you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, do you think you'd understand half of it?
No.
And
Like-
that's what watching Boruto was for me. I did not understand what they were trying to do with it. Like 90% of the time I
So
was
like
watching.
as someone who like enjoyed the original show, they like built up like the power, like not the power scaling, but like the powers and stuff that are so familiar, like that you should familiarize yourself with, right? Like that the tailed beast and their Jinchurikis were like uber powerful, super fearsome stuff. And then you see this one guy like toss him around like a fucking ragdoll and you're like, oh shit. And then you later find out that he has the power of a basically god and you're like, yeah, that checks out. And fucking like and then it all ends with like I don't even care about spoilers, bro. Just it is such an old show.
It's old. Yeah, it's old as fuck. Don't even. Yeah.
Like, so it basically ends with all of the guys being brought like all of the tailed beasts being brought together to form like the original thing that was split from it, because that thing
Yeah.
was so powerful.
Yeah.
And then, like, a lot happens in the later half, I'm not gonna lie. And I think a manga experience is probably a lot better because there is, like, filler during the fucking final fight. And yes, I'm not kidding. That does, that just actually happens. But, you know what's going on and you understand the scales of the threat. They do a good job explaining that. Everything, like every fight, everything I've seen of fucking Boruto, it just seems to be like random power spikes of just bullshit. If that makes sense?
Yeah.
Like, what the hell do you mean people can just, like, use any jutsu they want now so long as they put it inside of a dinky little fucking scroll? Like, what? Why? Why would anyone do that? You're basically like, that's not even, like, it's, so, you know how Magic in my world, like, it has a practical use, like, an everyday use, I mean.
Yeah.
You know what doesn't?
What?
Literal, like, magic designed for harm.
Yeah.
Like, it is designed to, like, hurt people. You know? Like,
Yeah.
there's no, like, why would you do that? Like, what happens if you run out? Just learn the actual fucking jutsu. That is all to say, like, when they introduced the Zonai stuff, I was, like, it's, oh no, an even ancienter technology that is somehow better than the Chica technology? That's crazy.
Yeah.
Like, it's just I feel like they were just trying to, like, replicate what they did with the Sheikah, but they couldn't. Because you can't do that.
Everything in the game kind of felt like they were just trying to do what they did originally,
It
but
feels
double.
like they were just trying to, like, make another version of Breath of the Wild.
Breath of the Wild, while still keeping some of Breath of the Wild there.
Yeah.
So, like, my thing is, right, I like that they added new mini bosses, but all those mini bosses are, like, just double of what was originally there.
Yeah.
And, like, so, how do I put this? I like the new ones, but most of them are useless, in my opinion.
Mini bosses?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, when we played Tears of the Kingdom, like, you saw, I only encountered, like, I had to basically, like, search out for the fucking Gloom Hands in order to summon the fucking Phantom Ganon.
Yeah. And what's worse is that it annoys me so much that it's both a main boss and a mini boss.
Yeah, that is so lazy.
Dude, that is the most, like, that hurts me on such a deep level.
Yeah.
Because I know they could have done so much better.
Like, I feel like, so, hot take, I feel like Nintendo shouldn't be able to be lazy like that.
They're a fucking billion fucking dollar company.
Yeah.
There's
like,
literally no excuse. There is no excuse.
They, like, I'm not going to go on a tangent with this, but just to show an example, Pokemon, one of the most profitable, probably the most profitable piece of media in the world, like, to ever exist. And the games are hot shit.
Yeah, agreed. So.
Like, how do they let that happen?
They're so lazily made.
Yeah. Like, how were they better when Pokemon wasn't as popular?
That's my thing. Like, I don't get it. And, like, I'm just gonna go into segments when I'm talking about TOTK like I've been doing. I think, like, my biggest problem has always been enemy variety in Breath of the Wild, but that's always been, like, a minor thing, you know? Like,
yeah,
I've never
considering
really,
that it's, like, the first, and they do try and give you at least some variety, and they gave you some fun fights.
And realistically, the variety they had there was the most unique out of any game.
Yeah.
Let's be honest.
Completely. I completely agree with that. Because, like,
I still think there are modern games that don't compare in terms of enemy variety. Or enemy intelligence, sorry.
Yeah, because I'll be real with you. I don't think, like, correct me if I'm wrong. Did bokoblins, moblins, and all that even exist before Breath of the Wild?
Yes, they did.
So they basically like
Bokoblins
revived.
Bokoblins have existed since Wind Waker. Moblins have been around since the first game.
Yeah. So they basically like I have played Zelda. Like I played a lot of 3D Zelda.
Yeah.
And I have never even heard of them. So they basically like revived, and to a lot of people probably like just like brought in these like new enemies, gave them a lot of stuff.
The only ones that I can think of that people would have like immediately known of were the Stalfos and Moblins. But the only reason I say Moblins are because, dude, they're everywhere. They're in Wind Waker. They're in the original. They're in Twilight Princess. They're in everything.
Yeah.
Literally everything.
And they look.
And
I think the only reason I kind of forgot that because I did play
they
2P.
don't look like
they
that.
look
They
so different across every variation.
They used to look like bulldogs. Then they looked like fat like goblin things. Then like same with bokoblins. Bokoblins have been around for like forever as well, but they never look the same.
Yeah.
And actually, the closest comparison to the ones we have in these games is the Wind Waker ones because they were also pigs.
Yeah.
But and same with Hinoxes.
I didn't know that they were in the game. Like they existed.
They used to be in like the 2D games. And they were Cyclopses. Like they were just like ogre Cyclopses. Like they're humanoid.
Interesting.
And now they're pigs, but I like that they're pigs because I'm more of a monster dude myself, you know.
I'm something of a monster guy myself.
I am a monster enthusiast. But
No, really?
I love the pig design so much. Like legitimately, they are some of my like Breath of the Wild has some of my genuine most favorite monster design. Like I genuinely love almost.
I think it is a it is a very like fine balance of both cartoony and like disgusting.
Yeah,
like they feel like
grotesque
monsters, but
cartoony.
it's in such a cartoony way that you know that it still makes
They
sense.
don't feel out of place.
Yeah.
Yeah, they don't feel out of place in this world. Yeah, I agree, like 100%. And I think they carried that over with TOTK technically.
Yeah.
But like, my problem is inherently just that like the AI in TOTK feels lazy.
Yeah.
And like I'm gonna elaborate by going like I'll go from mini bosses to enemies because I think mini bosses are the most egregious. Like well, not most egregious, but like I expected more of them. And like starting off like the Flux Construct, we've already gone over this a little bit. They're really like boring. Like they're interesting the first fight, but every fight after that is literally the same. You will never find a different version of the fight, you know?
Yeah.
And like the only problem I ever had when it comes to the old bosses returning is the fact that they barely did anything new with the old mini bosses.
Yeah, so my complaint, since we're talking about enemies, my main complaint with what's it called? My main complaint is the artificial difficulty.
Agreed.
Like there is no reason for I played the game. I played both games, and I would say I enjoyed both games. Breath of the Wild certainly more than Tears of the Kingdom, but that's fine. That's not what I'm talking about. Like if I were to play either of them again, I would hate to play. Why is it not letting? Oh, do I have to? Where is it telling me to jump to? Oh. If I were to play any of the games again, I would want to play Breath of the Wild because I know that I will have a much, much better time with the enemies in those games because they're just friendlier. Like,
yeah,
you can actually hurt them. They only get really bad when you're at the end game and they're all silver. And that's to be expected. You're at the end of the game. You should have all of these things. You should be able to do so much more. So the game expects you to do that.
Yeah, and the progression is a lot slower, but like even pace.
Yeah. I was fighting silver and like all silver enemies, like not even halfway through the game. I think I did
Yeah.
like I didn't even do like that many dungeons. I did like 2 dungeons and I was fighting all silver for no reason.
it's
There was no reason for that.
That's ridiculous. It's so ridiculous. I like so going back a little. Like with the Flux and let's see, and even Phantom Ganon. Phantom Ganon, although you were struggling with the timing for me like got really easy after a certain point.
And we both agree
like-
that the timing was bullshit, right? Yeah.
Oh yeah. For you,
Yeah,
it was
yeah,
absolutely bullshit.
Like,
yeah.
so I know that sounds like an excuse, and it is like cope, but like, I genuinely thought like, it just felt like sometimes I would avoid the attack and get a flurry rush, and other times I just wouldn't.
Princess,
Yeah.
I'm on my way.
And it's just bullshit. And the thing is that like that I love the boss as a returning boss, and I think as a story boss it would have been amazing. But when it comes to like it as a mini boss and overall boss, it pisses me off so much, and it's such a lazy decision.
Yeah,
And not only that, but they use him as a story boss twice. Actually, no, they use him 3 times. They use him for the Deku Tree, they use him for right before Ganon's fight, and they use him in Ganon's fight.
yeah, which is
Fucking
something.
ridiculous. And I'm like, dude, that annoys me. But if I'm gonna go on the positives,
If I must.
I actually kind of like the Gleeons. Not design-wise, but fight-wise, I think they were fine.
yeah.
The only thing I'd say is they're really easily cheesable, even more so than any of the other bosses.
Yeah, I agree. So here's my thing, right?
Yeah.
And I do think that there was a problem in Breath of the Wild where you could basically just bomb all your problems away. One, it wasn't fixed in
Impa. Yes, Princess.
Tears of the Kingdom, you
it
just still
wasn't
do that.
it wasn't fixed in Tears of the Kingdom. But they tried
Yes,
to
limited
with the bomb
supply.
by making the bomb flowers harder to access. They tried to do it. They failed, but they at least tried. And like I kind of
Actually, they
understand.
made it worse. I'd
Yeah,
argue.
considering that you
Made
can
it
just
worse.
buy it.
No. You can also turn them into arrows, and then you can use a Lionel bow.
Yeah, that.
You can fire 5 bombs at once at maximum.
Yeah. So. What's more is what's it called? Shit, I was doing an objective and I completely lost all train of thought that I once had.
Fair enough.
What's it called? So, I don't know if they considered that people were gonna do that when they made, like, the stats for enemies in Tears of the Kingdom, but you know how in Breath of the Wild you would fight something and it would go on for about as long as you would expect.
Yeah.
In Tears of the Kingdom, everything felt so bloated that, like, it wasn't fun.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
you took heavy hits, and no one else did.
Yeah. Or sometimes enemies that shouldn't be taking heavy hits, like, and being floppy, were.
Yeah.
Like, okay, like, going on that tangent a little bit, like, moving away from the boss a little bit, I love boss goblins with a passion, but why the fuck can I toss them like a salad more than I can bokoblins?
Yeah. Like, I thought that was ridiculous. Like, if you have any type of bombs, it is just over for them.
But, like, my thing is that, dude, they're fucking tanks, but they act as though they're still normal bokoblins, like, size-wise. And, like weight-wise.
Yeah,
How?
like, I don't
Literally
know. It is ridiculous.
It makes me so annoyed. And it's like, I love them so. Like, their design, I love their concept and the horn and, like, the formations. That is literally, like, that is my jam.
Can I say something that may or may not be controversial?
What?
I hated all of the abilities introduced in Tears of the Kingdom.
I agreed. They were all fucking lame and hard to use and stupid.
Like, the building mechanic, I just rode a horse anywhere anyway. I didn't use vehicles.
Dude, just to cut in a little, the fucking the fuse mechanic only made weapon breaking that much worse.
I completely agree. At least in
The
Breath of the
grind,
Wild, you break a weapon, you just go back and find a weapon of the exact same type. Tears of the Kingdom, you have to not only find either a rare pristine weapon of that type, but you also have to find, like, fight a rare, like, enemies aren't hard to come by, right? But they are, like, harder to, like, fight, and they're, like,
And
scattered much, much more than Breath of the Wild.
Yeah, the harder one, the more valuable ones are harder to get to.
Yes.
And what's even worse is you have to waste materials just to get the materials.
Yeah, it's... I just didn't like it. Like, I know that we are just literally just complaining about Tears of the Kingdom, but I think that Breath of the Wild was genuinely a better game. Like, in all
It
ways.
was.
Like, the
I
only
agree.
thing I liked more about Tears of the Kingdom was the dungeons.
I
But I didn't like its bosses. Like, I like the Breath of the Wild bosses more than the, like, Tears of the Kingdom ones. Since I don't really care about design, I'm more for, like, actual fighting. I enjoyed fighting the Breath of the Wild bosses more.
Which are amplified by the
I
power
agree.
of such ancient relics.
My thing is that,
How
like,
about a meager
I think
fragment
just to
of
go on the
such
positives, because we're speaking really negative.
see.
I
That
think
explains why all
that
of us
I
were able to
enjoyed
use the Sheikah slate.
a few. I enjoyed a few of the dungeons a little bit more, like at least design wise.
Hold on.
Oh, yeah.
Information we can't even fathom.
Oh yeah.
Pia
my
was
God.
Pia was so. I mean, Pyrrha was so much better in Tears of the Kingdom.
So bad.
She's still bad, but she was so much better in Tears of the
I
Kingdom.
extracted some visual
That is
data
one of the
from
things I
garden
agree
and
that Tears of the Kingdom did right.
Yeah, so much more, like, so nice.
Is that?
Yep.
Her eyes are
All
fucking
about it.
crazy, dude. She looks.
Hyrule Castle after Calamity Ganon
Yeah.
has been revived.
As you can see, we managed to extract some of the data, but much of it was fragmented. Even so, if I analyze what we received, I may be able to make sense of more of it.
This is the ruin the Calamity will bring upon all of Hyrule.
What?
If we allow this to pass, I fear all hope will be lost.
Even everything we've done up until now likely won't be enough.
It wasn't.
If I don't succeed
Yeah.
at sealing the Calamity,
Oh my god, stop bitching, bro. No one cares about you.
this will not come to pass.
You know, so I understand Zelda's character in Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom, all that
To
jazz.
stop Calamity Ganon,
Yeah.
it was crucial that they possess the sword.
I
that
think
seals
I
the
think she's just
darkness,
kind of cringe.
the latent power dwelling
Agreed.
within the Princess of Hyrule, and the might of the four divine beasts unearthed from across the land. However,
Also, all of the
the path
powers
to victory
in
was strewn with obstacles.
Breath of the Wild. So, like, I liked the
Forest,
Sheikah Slate
where the
abilities more than
legendary
anything
swords
in
slept,
Tears of the Kingdom,
had been
obviously.
overrun by
But I also think the
monsters,
champion abilities
and
were
the
better
Princess
than
of
the
Hyrule's power
like
showed no
Tear
signs
Stone
of
abilities as well. Like
Agreed,
I
dude.
use them much more.
Yeah, because they're more
Lamenting
useful.
the
Yeah,
kingdom's
the only
plight,
one I think I ever
King Rome
used,
sent his
like,
daughter
consistently
to gather pilots
was
for the
Tulin
divine
and
beasts.
Sidon. Those two were it.
Alongside Link,
Well, the thing
whose
is
brave
that, like,
conduct had earned him a role as her
the
knight,
fucking electricity,
Zelda
you had to literally
competed
run after
with
her.
each of the four
Yeah.
candidates.
And fucking Yunobo sucks. It's just bad.
Yeah, it does suck. It's only used for puzzles though. Or like not wasting
You
bombs.
intend to let this
Yeah.
relic follow you around,
Yeah, but
Yes,
to sing its praises a little.
after talking to Pura and
Two
Robbie, we thought it would
out
be
of the
best.
boss, like the three
I
bosses,
will
were cool,
remind
in
you
my opinion.
once again.
Hold on.
I like the
Above
frogs.
all else,
Oh.
your duty is of the utmost
It's a little hard when I
importance.
can't hear anything.
Yeah, I
Are
know.
we
Just
clear?
if do you want me to
Yes,
just
we
tell
are
you when a
clear,
cutscene
I
starts?
understand.
Yeah.
Because I don't care if you talk
And I
over like
will honor my
the
duty.
transition screen dialogue, but I you know.
Yeah.
So chat, story recap. She has daddy issues and imposter syndrome. So she
Okay.
is. I think that's actually exactly it.
Mhm.
And we are nobody that is accompanying her as of now. Thing time traveled. We took the thing to the two Sheikah scientists, Robbie and Pura, who is definitely still a baddie, but not as bad as Tears of the Kingdom.
Yeah.
It's crazy how she's like, what, over 100?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like fine wine. Anyway, chat, that's gonna be it for this episode. See you next one. Later.
See.